Welcome to the Overland Sea podcast. Today we are talking about the away game at Everton. Everton are currently 17th in the league with 10 points. Ironically, if they did not have a 10-point deduction, they would be 1 point above us in the league. So I think that actually shows how well they've been playing this season, considering they were constantly in a relegation battle last season. They have won 6, drawn 2, lost 7. Their last 5 Premier League fixtures include winning to Newcastle 3-0 at home, beating Forest 1-0 away, losing to United 3-0 at home, beating Palace 3-2 away, and drawing with Brighton 1-1 at home. Just a quick one from Poch's notes after the Man United game. He, just because I feel like it does have something to do with us moving forward, after the United game, he came out and he said that us playing 10 men in the second half to Brighton hindered our performance against United. And the fact that we have so many injuries with such a condensed fixture list is also going to impact how we play. And another little fact that I found out, Everton are either the tallest team in the league or they are one of, and we are the smallest, if not just one of the smallest teams in the league. So set pieces could be an issue for us. And another little bit of good news, hopefully, is Nkunku could actually be available this weekend. So with all that being said, Andrew, your thoughts on the away game to Everton today?
Yeah, that was quite a lot of information that you just reeled off there.
Yeah, it's what I do.
First of all, apologies for the lack of quality from my side this week. The internet isn't really working, but needs must. So I think Sean Dyche sets up teams to make them very difficult to play against, which will make it very difficult for us because I sense a low blocking coming with sort of some pacey counter-attacks and playing for some set pieces, which we've struggled against. I think we have generally struggled against Everton, or at least the last few years have struggled against Everton, even though when they've been bang average. I think we found it very difficult, and it is sort of that low block problem that rears its ugly head a lot. But it's by no means a game that we're definitely going to win. I think, weirdly enough, I was hearing this week that they are better away from home than they are at home.
I think they are one of
bizarre. Yeah. I'm assuming that's because they do well in a low block and they are less incentivized to do a low block at home, whereas away from home you can kind of get away with these things. So I think, realistically, we're in the same position of we need to get a goal and we need to get a goal early. And we need to not give away stupid free kicks because set pieces are not going to be our friend in this game. Even if we do play the 4 centre-back methods that we have been playing, we played last week, I still think we're undersized against them in general. So it's just about being more disciplined than we have been at times. And I forgot all of the other questions that you asked in that because it was a lot, if I'm honest.
No, there wasn't many questions, to be fair. The question at the end was just sort of like, what do you see? No, not what do you see. It's just thoughts on the other team and what you'd like to see from us more than anything else. And I think you summed it up quite well. I'm worried about this game. I was always worried about this game. I'm even more worried about it now after the United defeat and the way that we lost, especially with Poch's comments talking about basically the amount of injuries that we've got and how we need a full strength squad, which we don't have. I feel like he's almost setting the fans up for more disappointment. but we've.
I mean, I do think that there is a valid point to we played for 45 minutes with 10 men against a team that is very capable on the ball and makes it very difficult for a team with less men.
No, I agree with that.
I mean,
I agree with that.
well,
but it's one of those things where it's like, how, is he starting to realize how bad we really are?
I don't. I think. I don't think we're that bad. If you think about how we played this season, most of the games, we're going through a bit of a bad patch at the minute with games coming thick and fast and an under strength squad. I do think we're lacking some quality back up in centre mid. I think that's obvious. We've only got 3 centre mids, and then we've got big layers who, in theory, probably should have had a loan out rather than be playing because Lavia is injured. Maybe when Lavia comes back, we can throw in a bit more rotation and see a little bit more from the centre mids in there, just in how they're playing. Because I think just a lack of energy has been our problem recently. I think we've done well at the start of the season when we've had energy. We've struggled after international breaks with a lack of energy, and obviously we struggled now with a lack of energy after the Brighton game where Conor Gallagher was sent off. So I do think that Poch's tactics require relatively high energy, which doesn't help a situation when you're obviously struggling with injuries. The players that you do have available are going to get more tired. You don't have the rotation. Like, we made 2 subs against United because we had no one on the bench. So I do get the point that they're knackered. We do need to do better at recovery. I think that must be one of the problems we've got with all these injuries is we're not focusing on recovery enough, or not doing it in the right way, or there's something we're doing wrong. Because I don't think that many of them. I think there's too many that have been sort of muscular ones rather than impact.
Say that again. Too many.
I think too many of them have been muscular ones rather than impact injuries.
Yes.
Impact injuries you can't really do anything about.
Yes.
The muscular ones, I think, at that level of the game, should be sort of more few and far between. Things happen, and a lot of them seem to be happening in training as well, which doesn't make any sense to me at all. I can understand there being something in the game and being in a situation where you have to push a player, but in training, I just think we should be getting training injuries that are muscular. But I don't think the squad's bad.
No,
I think we have had starts off playing well, but there's a few things that I think we're exposed to, a lot of which Everton have. So like, the low block we struggle against because we sort of lack a fair bit of creativity. And I think all you really have to do is mark Cole Palmer and Enzo pretty well and stop them. And I don't think we've got enough creativity to break it down at the minute. And then the other one is height and set pieces, and we struggle against set pieces and counter attacks, sort of pacing behind. Our back line isn't particularly quick. So we're full with Silver and Zazie. I don't think any of them are particularly good. Fofana, I think, is quite quick, but God knows what he's going to be like after this recurring injury. We are just going through a period of one player still trying to get to know each other. 2, I think we lack creativity in general, but are moving in the right direction. I think the one thing I'm kind of clinging to is when Nkunku comes back, we get more of that intricate play.
Yeah.
Because in pre-season we had a lot of it, and I think he was a big part of it, and I think so was Mudryk. Getting Mudryk back with some confidence would help. And just getting more players in and around Jackson, because he's not a lone striker. He needs people to play with, and at the minute, he looks very isolated in the middle of the pitch.
No, I do agree with that assessment. I think maybe I chose the wrong word there where I said bad. But I like how you
Mm.
describe the energy with regards to obviously having a depleted squad at the moment with the injuries. And then there's also I think with the energy thing for me as well is, pardon me, I'm starting to get the feeling now because there's a lot of frustration shown by the players for me at the end of the Man United game, or towards the end of the game, I should say. And I'm just wondering whether, with regards to energy, like certain energy is dropping for players, or should I say energy is dropping for certain players due to, I don't know how to word it, but maybe the quality that we have in certain areas of the pitch in terms of them not being able to do the job that they think they should be able to, or to the level that they should be able to, which is why we're not doing any, like we're not finding that progress, in front of goal. Because I mean,
Sorry,
regardless of
just to
energy,
interrupt before we go on.
huh?
Are you saying this on the basis of players getting upset with themselves or players getting upset with other players that
I
aren't
think players getting more upset with other players more than anything else. And I mean, take
good
away energy for the time being, because the biggest thing for me is we did have opportunities against United, and we were awful in the final third. We had a few opportunities in the first half, and we were awful against United. And that's not energy. And I think when you're messing those passes up, when you're messing those opportunities up, that is going to frustrate other players, especially when you're in the middle of a tough game. I'm just wondering whether that might show a fraction, like some sort of tension within the squad.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it did cause some mental hang. I think Enzo is the one that shows it the most for me. I think he's very, I was going to use a different word from flamboyant, but because it's not flamboyant, but it's
Emotional.
sort of big. Well, it's just sort of like big actions and yeah, emotionally showing his frustration. Um, but yeah, I think players that think they're doing quite well, and I think Cole Palmer showed some frustration against United because people weren't pressing. So I think showing frustration isn't a bad thing, but I think we need to show it in the right
The right
way
way.
and at the right times. I think Enzo just immediately does it, and you're almost like, no, can we keep playing and then just like have a fucking word with them? And I think Cole Palmer did a similar had a basically just turned around and had a word with them. I can't remember if like the ball was still in play or it had gone by that point. But I do just it would be very frustrating if you think you're doing well. Like obviously we played rugby growing up rather than football, but I remember like a lot of times when I was playing the second row, getting very upset with people dropping the fucking ball and making me scrummage constantly. It's like, fellas, just catch the fucking ball. It's not even raining. Like there's literally no excuse. It's sunny. There's no like wetness, so the ball's not slippy. Just fucking catch the ball. It's not difficult. Um, so I can imagine that
Position,
there'll be stuff
worst
like that when
position on the
you're
pitch.
working your nuts off. If you're working your absolute nuts off in the midfield, trying to win the ball, creating chances, or even defence, and you're struggling because you're against other players that are quick, your team's not coming back and helping. Like the wingers aren't also coming back and helping. And so effectively, I think against United, there was a lot of 2-on-1s against Colwill and Cucurella
Barella.
in the first half because Sterling and Mudryk weren't really getting back. And you kind of, I could understand that would breed a lot of frustration if you're not getting it done at the good end of the pitch, but you're also not then putting the shift in and helping out to make everyone else's life easier as well. Like if you're also sacrificing your left back and you're not scoring when you go forward, the whole point of that is
Yeah.
maybe you take a risk and they've got a hand back. But like, I think there's a lot of people that are incredibly frustrating to watch at the minute in our team, and I think if I was playing with them, I'd be even more frustrated. So I think there will be a morale loss, and I think there will be a level of mental fatigue that brings that is even less helpful. And I think I did see a fair bit of. We just didn't look like we had ideas against United in what was actually a semi-open game. It wasn't like they just completely everyone behind the ball and sharp shot the whole time. There was a fair amount of opportunities, and it just looked like we ran out of ideas, and there was a lot of mental fatigue in there in the second half. And that's, I think, more worrying. I think that's more difficult to come back from, especially while you're still going through this, and you kind of just need something. You kind of need a mental boost from somewhere, and I don't know where that's coming from at the minute.
No, exactly, and that's the thing.
Back,
well, that's the thing in terms of what I said when you like. It was a tough game. We were being pressed really well by United in the midfield, and that's what I'm saying. It's like when you're not taking those opportunities. And it's a tough, grueling game. The rest of the team are just going to feel depleted because it's like, well, we're working as hard as we can to get you the ball. You've had opportunities and opportunities you should have buried. It's that sort of lack of quality. But yeah. So, what do you want to see from Chelsea in this Everton game?
I need to see more. Well, it's more energy, really, isn't it? It basically is. That's the problem. When we play well, it's because we are energetic. We win the ball in midfield, and we boss the midfield. If we don't do that, we struggle. I
think Connor coming back is going to make a big difference because he's not suspended for this game. So you're going to get the press from him at least.
So that will help. I think. The Cole Palmer doesn't really press; he blocks channels, and that works really well with Conor Gallagher. And I think not having Conor against United meant that what the other people have got used to doing with Conor, where they block channels and they try and get in front of the other midfielder, just doesn't work because they're not rushed, so they can play a much better pass.
Yeah.
So I think that has shown that Conor is quite important. So I think that will be a big lift. But yeah, it is just more fight and more battle. I just didn't see enough in the United game. It was more about just quality as well. Like, we couldn't string passes together, and I think a lot of it you have to give credit to United because they did press well and they were well organised. And had a good strategy, but at the same time, there were some of those passes where you're like, that was nothing to do with United. Yeah. That was us playing a 5-yard pass unchallenged and not kicking it where the player wants it, and putting players under pressure. So it is just going back to sort of the basics, getting the basics right, and winning the battle in midfield. I think that's what we've got to try and hope for.
I actually don't think we turned up to that game proper, in the sense that we looked overwhelmed with what United did. It just almost looked as if they didn't think that United were going to press as hard as they did. I question whether they turned up in the right mentality for me for that game. We got back into it in the first half, don't get me wrong, but I don't think we started with the right mentality. And then when that second goal came in, we shut off. We just gave up. So I think we just need a really big start more than anything else.
For me, it was definitely United's best performance of the season.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we're expecting a performance of that level from United, but that's the fucking worst excuse going. It's just like, we think they're not going to be very good, so
we're not going
to try. Yeah. They're above us in the table, and it's Man United away from home, and they don't particularly like losing to us in general. So, yeah, I think maybe there's some slight naivety there, but I think also I don't want to underestimate how knackered a lot of these players must have been.
No, I agree.
Good news is they've played after us. They played the day after us, so in theory we've had more time to recover, and we should be able to more even level if we were that knackered going into that game. What do you want to see?
What do I want to see? Effort is one thing. I think Dad's always said that to us. And that's something that's stuck with me for ages. It's like, you might not always get the result, but effort, you can't question effort. You should never be able to question someone's effort. And I do question the effort from that game. Granted, like I said, I know they're tired and stuff, but I'd rather, a player got so tired and cramped up in 60th, 70th minute, and we had to bring on a youth player because they've worked their socks off. Do you know what I mean? Rather than coming away going, I don't think that player or the team in general put in enough effort. I'm sick to death of the final third at the moment. Like, there is a bit of quality there. We do have good players, but just the decision making, just basic decision making and basic passes, like weights of passes. It's not even a question of like getting to know somebody. There's certain decisions, that Sterling one, like, he just didn't do enough there. Like, the basics were completely wrong. That's got nothing to do with I didn't know where he was going to run or what. That's just basic football, and poor decision making. And if you get that goal, you're then turning it around a bit. Do you know what I mean? You're putting the pressure back on United by that point, because I think that would have been what, 2-1 or 1-1, and then we would have got the second goal. I can't remember which way around it went. And then I think the midfield would be stronger today because Connor's back, because he's the one that leads the press. So I think he's going to help the midfield out a bit, because we were overrunning the midfield, and I don't think we would have looked as bad if Connor was playing because of how he operates in the midfield. I am slightly worried about the set pieces, and I think even Poch has come out and said we've got to be careful about giving away corners and the wide free kicks. So that's where the what's the word I'm looking for? Not decision. Pardon?
Discipline.
Yes, thank you. Discipline. And that's where the discipline's got to come into it, in terms of, you don't want to be giving away corners. You want to give away a throw in, maybe, and obviously just clear it further up the pitch. So don't give them enough opportunities for set plays, because we're going to struggle with our own corners. We definitely don't want to be defending them. So that's it. It's what you said, basics.
That mindset worries me.
Huh?
That mindset worries me. Mindset worries me. Where you're trying desperately not to give them corners, because I think that's where you start making defensive mistakes, because you're trying to like head the ball in a position where you wouldn't naturally head it. You just try and get rid. So that scares me. I think.
I'm not saying don't give them. It's going to happen. I'm just saying that I think we do give away a lot of corners just due to being pressed, or closing down and holding onto the ball for too long, and trying to be too cute, shall I say, too cute in our own third. And that's, I think, the issue that Poch was trying to get at, and that's the bit that I agree with. You're going to give away corners. What I'm saying is don't give away, don't just clear the ball out for a corner when you don't have to. It's more than anything. Don't just nod it out. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like, I just feel like we need to be a bit more aware about what's going on around us than just, headering out every time for a corner, or, a block's going to happen. So a block's more than likely going to go out for a corner. I get it, but don't be cute and stupid where we're putting pressure on us that in the end we get a ricochet and it goes out for a corner.
Yeah.
For me, especially the silly free kicks. Huh?
The stupid free kicks we give away that does my head in.
Yeah, the free kicks, for example, is a massive one. You don't give away silly free kicks in the wide position. But yeah, I think we need to see a bit more clever football and passing and moving more than anything else. I hate the static passing. It solves nothing. It creates nothing. So yeah, just go back to a few more basics, and the final third really need to be a bit more clinical and better decision making. Right, with that, do you want to go on to starting 11s?
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, let's do it.
Fire away, Andrew.
So we're going to go Sanchez in goal. What is the goodness? Defenders, we're going to go with Thiago Silva and Badiashile. We'll go Reece James. I'm assuming he can play at least 60 minutes. And we're going to go with Kikurea. I'm just so bored of it. I know we need hype, but I'm just so bored of Levi Colwood at left back. It's just not working. And I've got
I'm not gonna lie. There was a part of me that was a bit like, are you gonna go with Cole for the height after what you said about him being sick of him at left back after the United game?
Yeah, I just can't do it. I can't do it.
I think he's going to play him there. I think he will play him there just for the height reason.
I think Pochettino will play him there, but I wouldn't. Is where I'm going with. I did think about Ian Matson actually as well, just give him a game, but that's just not going to happen, unfortunately. So
no.
It'd be what it be. And then midfield of Caicedo, Enzo, and Connor. I believe they're all fit.
To be fair, I won't lie. I forgot to check the. I forgot to check the injuries today. I'm guessing it's just the normal ones. I've not read anything over the last few days to suggest. There's.
I think Big Les and Nonny are injured.
Well, they had small knocks. I don't know if they're back yet. Hopefully they are. But
because I think I probably would have given Nonny a chance today, actually.
Oh, instead of who?
Mudryk.
Fair.
And then Sterling can play on his favoured side, and he's got no excuses. But no, I think the front three is Sterling, Mudryk. Oh no, hang on, Cole Palmer, Sterling. Oh yeah. Well, I forgot about Cole there for a second. That's embarrassing. I just think Jackson has been struggling. I think Brody is better in the air and more of a handful.
No, I'd agree. I'd agree with your starting lineup again. Yeah, I don't know what else you can do. You can't not have Cole Palmer playing. Sterling's been good this year. I think Mudryk will have to come on, but I think the wingers need to work harder, and kind of agree. You need to track back and run forward. So that's like Mudryk will be coming on at this time. So work your socks off. The midfield, you can't really do anything else with unless the only thing I thought about was potentially putting Reece James in midfield and then having another centre back on in the back line, just again for that height. But I wouldn't know who you would take out of the midfield. I don't think you take out Connor. Caicedo's probably too risky, so then it'd probably be Enzo. But I don't know if that midfield would work together. I'm not sure. But that was more just to get more height in the defence. And I know that Reece James could do a job there. And I agree with Broja. I want to see him start a game. I want to see him, get to 75th minute, 80th minute, and just see what he can do. And then who knows? Maybe Jackson, fresh legs, bit of pace where he likes to, run at players. Maybe he can come on and create something from that position. Hopefully. The only other one for me is Colwill or Badiashile, isn't it? It's Colwill or Badiashile. I think either way. I think he'll probably play Colwill. I think he will play Colwill. So I'll say Colwill.
I think he'll play Colwill at left back, to be honest.
Well, that's a good point. He probably will play Colwill at left back, actually, just for that extra bit of height. So, yeah.
I think Badiashile is the best defender in the air that we've got. That's why I've gone for Badiashile. I think, we've spoken about this before. I think between Colwill and Badiashile, it is generally a game by game who's more helpful in that game, who's more useful. And I think against the teams that are bigger and stronger, Badiashile makes more sense.
Yeah, and I'm not being funny. After Colwill's pathetic defending of the McTominay goal, I don't think you can argue he needs to be stronger in the box. Apparently, he's looking at suspension because he's come out and criticised the referees and VAR for not giving him a free kick for that, because he felt like he should have a free kick. So he's now facing a potential suspension against Sheffield United with his comments. Not I've read the comments.
He basically was just like, I think VAR obviously has a problem with me. He said something about VAR having a problem with him. Because I don't think he's been that hard done by, to be honest.
No, I think it's soft. I do think it's soft.
I don't think that was a foul. So, silly boy, really, from someone that was our captain last week.
Yeah.
This week.
Right, I'm going to stop sharing quickly. I will try and post that on Instagram today and get that going finally. And so that leads us on nicely to your score prediction.
1-0 Chelsea. Hopeful 1-0.
Wow, brave 1-0.
I can't see it scoring 2 against the low block at the minute.
I can see. I can honestly see it being like 3-1 to Everton.
Right.
Yeah. Just because of. Well, the reason I'm saying that, mate, is I'm hoping I can be proven wrong on our own vlogcast, which would be nice. I'm worried about the set pieces. I'm worried about the mentality of the squad at the moment, giving away silly challenges and whether they will defend better than they did against United. Everton are on form at the moment. We're not. I think that needs to be taken into consideration. Yeah, and like I said, if it's set pieces, if there's a lot of set pieces, it could honestly easily be 3 goals to them. And with the low block, who knows what we'll do. I'd like to see if Nkuku can come on, but I don't want him to be risked, if that makes sense. I don't want them to make a silly decision with bringing him on and it causing more problems. But if he's able to, that'd be quite cool. Something for us to look forward to. Who's going to be your scorer in your 1-0?
Cole Palmer.
Pen?
Well, he can score from open play now. I didn't realise he could do that before the United game. So, I think just Cole Palmer. It might be a pen, it might not be, but yeah, we're going with Cole.
But I'm going to give it to Broja just because I want to see him have a really good game. I'd like to see him get a good performance in, get a goal, and hopefully we can build on something a little bit different in the final third moving forward.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers
crossed you're wrong. That's abhorrent that you come out.
Oh, it's very defeatist. It's very defeatist. But I've been very optimistic coming into these three games, and I'm really hoping that they prove me wrong and I can eat my words later on. But they've got to show something a bit more special than they have done against United and a bit more consistency. So we will see. Anything else you want to add to this episode of the Overland Sea vlogcast?
No, I don't want to talk to you anymore after that. Terrible shout.
Sweet.
Well, you just wrap it up, mate. Ridiculous.
Well, do you know what? I hope that you can come on here later and prove me wrong. I don't want to be right. I'm hoping I get proved wrong. But
just sign it off. I'm not.
Thank you all for watching this episode of the Land and Sea podcast. Like, share, follow, subscribe, notification button, comment below, and we look forward to seeing you in the post-game analysis later on. Thank you.